Hi everyone, and welcome to the second course of the blockchain courses. So in this course we're going to see how we can interact with the kinds of smart contracts that we've written in Remix IDE and how we can deploy them on the real world, also on local blockchains. So at the beginning we start with the local blockchains, which is a kind of a simulated blockchain on our computer system that we can learn how to deploy our smart contracts and also interact with them outside of the Remix IDE. And also then we will learn how to work with the testnets and mainnets of the blockchains that we're working with and how we can deploy them on these networks as well, and also interact with our smart contracts so that later we can create the DApp of our choice. So a deep app, as you know, is decentralized applications that we're going to use throughout the blockchain system, and they're going to create the kinds of decentralized apps that can handle everything without ever needing to have the central authority to control them. So the first thing we need to do is to install some of the tools that we need for working with these kinds of blockchains. So the first one of which is the local blockchain, and we're going to use the Ganache UI in order to make that happen. So Ganache UI is a kind of a simulated blockchain that we will use in order to deploy our contracts on it. So it will give us some accounts that are for test. So I'm going to show you the GUI that I've downloaded and installed so that you can better see what's going on. So it's a kind of a GUI that kind of simulates the blockchain, but notice that the blockchain is no way like this. Okay, it's just a kind of an easy to use, user-friendly kind of a GUI for getting familiar with the blockchain systems. So it will give you a number of accounts, as you can see. So a number of accounts, which is 10, which you can also change, make it more, and also and so on. So as you can see, it gives you an address, which is the public key, and also a private key. So you can check the private key from here and copy it, use it. And each of the accounts has 100 Ethereum balance, which is just for test. And notice that this is not the actual Ethereum. This is just for test, and whenever you use it, for example, this becomes 0. Once you launch the software again, you will see that another kind of address with another balance of 100 coins of Ethereum is still in it, is again in it, and you can use it. You can also see the records of the transactions here. Notice that on an actual blockchain, you can see those records on a website called Etherscan. So if it's a testnet, it will be the name of that testnet, Etherscan. So and each kind of network has their own kind of a scan that you can take a look at the records of the transactions and also the accounts, and also see every kind of information that you're looking for, because it's decentralized, and also it is transparent. So in order to be able to track the transactions, you can just see all the transactions on those websites and also here. So don't worry if you're not familiar with any of these, because we're going to cover that in this course. So we can also see the contracts that has been deployed, the blocks and the block numbers, and also you can get some of the information related to the network ID or chain ID, RPC server or HTTP provider, which is on the local testnet. So this is again not a kind of a network that is connected to an actual blockchain or actual testnet or mainnet. This is just for learning the blockchain much better, being able to test your code right here on the local blockchain, and then go after the testnets and then the mainnet. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got a number of mnemonic keys, some phrases that you need for each one of the accounts. So for these 10 accounts, you will have all these mnemonic keys. Notice that this is one wallet, but 10 number of accounts. So in one wallet, you can have a number of accounts. So if you're not familiar with the wallets and the accounts, don't worry, I'm gonna explain everything. So remember that any kind of application or a web application that you have you have a username and password. So here, instead of that, for the valets, we will have a number of phrases. So most of the time there are 12 phrases, but right now let's see how many they are. So yes, again, here we have 12 phrases, and for each valet it is different. So notice that if I launch this software again, it will show me a different kind of mnemonic key. Okay, so it's one valet containing 10 accounts, and you can test the transfer of money from one to the other. So it has all the tools of not only the valets but also the blockchain and the scans and everything inside one software. But in the actual world, you need to have a kind of a wallet such as MetaMask, and you will be able to see the transactions on a website like Etherscan. I will explain them all later, but right now the main focus is on the local blockchain, which is Ganache. Notice that later we might not use this one at all, and we might use Ganache CLI, which is on the command line interface or terminal, which is right here. So we'll use that instead of this one, which makes our job much easier. But for now, at the beginning, for you to better understand what's going on, we'll use the Ganache GUI. So in order to install that, according to your operating system, you need to download and install it, and so that later you will be able to use it. So here on the Linux, so I can install it, and with the way that it suggests me. So notice that you should only install it from the official website, which is trufflesuit.com. I will give a link in the description, so don't worry about that. So it's better that in this first video of our tutorial we install anything we want, so that you don't later you do not need to install any of them. So we need to also install Ganache CLI. Notice that for each project we need to install it, and right now I do not recommend installing it. Once we get into the project and once it's the time to learn it, I will tell you to do that. But if you want to know how to install it, you can just come over right over here and install it with npmi Ganache CLI like this. So right now, again, I'm telling you, you do not need to install it. And before that, you will also need to have Node packages installed. So npm and Node needs to be installed. So first you install Node, and then you will install npm. So if you're not familiar with Node.js or anything like that, don't worry, I will explain anything you need to learn about Node.js. So don't worry about anything like that. You can just follow along with the tutorial and you will learn it. So if you're on Windows, you can follow along with this nodejs.org, and also if any other operating system, you can just install it using the guidelines provided here. You can also, if you're on an operating system like Debian, like just like me, you can install it with nvm, or first install Node and then install npm and yarn with the installation guides given with nvm. So I will also guide you how you can do this, but most of you are on Windows or Ubuntu, so you can just follow along with the tutorials given in this official website of Node, and it's recommended that you use these guidelines. Okay, but if for any reason you are on Debian operating system, then make sure that you install the latest version of Node and npm, because by default it will install the version 12, which is not enough. So always make sure that you have the latest version of Node. So it's version 18, so be careful about that. We also need to install yarn. So let me tell you how you can install yarn on your operating system. So you just can simply search it on Google. So yarn is also needed for some of our packages. Sometimes you might need to install, for example, this Ganache CLI with yarn. So that's totally up to you. So you need to first install yarn and install the packages of Node.js with yarn as well. So npm yarn is just like npm, with a little bit of differences and a little bit of differences in the installation of the packages, but this is parallel to npm, And sometimes we don't have some of the packages on npm, so you can install it with yarn, and you can install yarn itself with npm. So you need to first install node and then the npm package, also npm itself, and also yarn. So once you do that, you're ready for this course. Don't worry if you haven't installed yarn. Still, we don't need that, but we need to install node and npm, and these are the necessities. Anyway, another thing you need to install is the MetaMask extension wallet. Now, MetaMask Chrome extension. So I highly recommend to install the extension. So, but we're not going to use it at the beginning of the tutorial, but I'm telling you to do this so that you understand what we're going to do in this tutorial. So most of the things we're going to do is going to be on the test nets in the future. So this MetaMask wallet provides us with different networks. The mainnet is the main one that you use it in order to keep your Ethereum coins in it, or other tokens, which is, for example, Polygon or other ERC20 tokens, and so on. You can also use some other networks such as Binance Smart Chain or Polygon network, and you can import it in this wallet so that you can use it and also be able to work with this. So anyway, I'm waiting for this to get installed, and then we can work on it. There are a number of things you can do with it. So here is telling me that there was a problem starting the MetaMask. Don't worry, we just need to restart our browser in order to, we don't need to do that. So we need to restart the MetaMask itself for us to work. And at the beginning, you will need to first check this box here. I agree to MetaMask terms of use and create a new wallet. So then you click agree, and then you can set a password for yourself. So I set one for myself, and make sure it's the safe password. So I'm just setting a password for myself. Notice that it's better to be a strong one, containing the characters, numbers, and uppercase letters. So check this box right over here, and notice that you can you must write down the password somewhere so that you do not lose it, or you will also be given, if you forget it, don't worry, because you will also be given a number of, so here there's a tutorial for learning about the secret recovery phrase. So you will be given a number of recovery phrases that you can recover your password, right, or recover your wallet. But notice that it's better to write your password as well. But in terms of the phrases that you will be given, it's highly recommended. It's a must for you to write it down, because if you don't do it, you will not be able to recover your wallet, and you will lose all of the funds that you have, all the assets that you have inside of this wallet. So secure my wallet. So now you will be given a number of the phrases. I'm not going to show this to you, but once you click on this icon right over here, you will be given the number of phrases, and then you will be asked to enter them afterward. So make sure you have them, so you can just I will show this to myself. So I'm gonna pause the video, and then I will go with the next steps. So right now, once I click next, I write down all of the phrases. Right now, the software itself, the extension, will ask you to enter enter these fields, the phrases that are missing, so that it makes sure that you know all of them. So once you wrote them, you can just click confirm, and then we will be able to continue. Now it's been done, and wallet creation successful. Now click on got it. So make sure you know everything here, and click next, and it's done. So now there might be new features that it lets you know about them. Notice that here I've got 0 Ethereum, but I may be able to also get a number of test tokens from somewhere. I will explain that in the later tutorials, but right now you have this MetaMask wallet ready. We might need to change some of the options in the settings. So here, as you can see the balance right over here. You might also want to have other accounts, which you can import that account right over here. It's up to you. And also you might need to change some of the settings. You might want to import a network here, which I will teach you how you can import the test nets. You can also use any one of these test nets, which is Goerli and Sepolia. So we're going to work with the Sepolia test network for our testnet codes as well. So here I can click on it and activate it. So we will also work with those as well. Also, you can hide the also uncheck the hide the networks so that you can see the other networks as well. But notice that we'll work on this in the future tutorials. So here you can check this, and then you will be able to see Sepolia and Goerli network as well. So you can also add any other networks that you want. So for example, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon networks, Terron network, and so on. And Terron, so it's not some of the networks cannot be imported here, right? So it should be Ethereum compatible. Anyway, so that's it for this tutorial. Make sure you install all of this, and then in the next part we will get started with coding on the Ganache GUI. So this one is really important for the next video, and we will use also VS Code. So make sure you have VS Code on your operating system so that you'll be able to code, and that is going to be our environment for coding. So that's it for this tutorial, and until the next one, goodbye.